I know how to be a gentleman from my parents, from how my parents have raised me, and I'm grateful to them for that.
Even though I might not have liked it, my parents have pushed me to do things that they knew would make me better, and they have. I'm grateful for that. Peyton.
I'm grateful that my parents have taught me how to be thankful with everything that we've been through, and may have not had that much growing up.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. It is Saturday, March 9th, 2024. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Christine Brown broke her silence about her bonus son, Mr. Garrison Brown, a son that she claimed as her own and helped raise. Janelle shared her fond memories of her last photo with her son Garrison and a family photo that they all took together, and Mary Brown paid tribute to not only Garrison but her mother, Bonnie. Staying silent throughout all of this has been stepmother and wife of Cody Brown, Robin Brown, who was at odds with Garrison for years leading up to the events that occurred earlier this week on March 4th and were investigated on March 5th, 2024. After several days of not posting on her Instagram, Christine Brown shared a time-lapsed video of Garrison helping Truly build a flower bed for her to plant flowers and have like a little garden in her backyard when they were still living in Flagstaff. And Christine wrote, Garrison was a wonderful, caring brother who understood Truly's need for a hobby and built her a flower bed. We'll miss him forever. With hashtags gratitude, hashtags miss you, hashtags I love you, and hashtags tell those you love them that you love them. Christine had not made a comment in the day after or the few days after everything went down. And I actually spoke to one of Christine Brown's first cousins who explained to me that it would not be uncommon, given what happened, for a plural wife or an ex-plural wife to not comment and allow the biological mother, who is Janelle, to take the lead when it comes to posting and speaking to the events that occurred. On the day of Garrison's tragic passing, it was Janelle and Cody who jointly released a statement on their Instagrams. The statements were basically copy-paste, which had Janelle's post saying Cody and I, Cody's saying Janelle and I, and then Mary also copied and pasted, but she just left. She just said the family would like to announce. Christine didn't say anything. Christine's cousin, who was a plural wife, explained to me that in a scenario like this, and given how close Christine was to Garrison, she may have just been respecting the boundaries that she knows and has with Janelle, and let Janelle take the lead in being the one to speak to Garrison, speak to the situation, and be the first to speak to her expressing her grief over what happened. And Christine waited silently several days while Janelle was the one to take that lead. And then after Janelle took that lead, she posted days later with her tribute. I think it's very respectful for it to be done in this way. For Mary does not have a relationship with Janelle, and Mary does not have a relationship either with Cody. And Mary just might have felt that she needed to make the statement known on her Instagram, and she released it around the same time as they did. I don't know if they coordinated this together or not. It remains unclear. And then yesterday, Janelle shared on her Instagram this post. I had all of my children together last Christmas. It was amazing, as it's hard with everyone's busy lives to coordinate time like this. I am extremely grateful now that we had pictures taken. And it was just a picture of her with all of her kids, including Garrison, in North Carolina for Christmas. Now, at Christmas, it was Janelle that actually had all of her kids down in North Carolina to go to Maddie's. And then she also had Kelty and Tony and their kids that joined them. And I believe, and Isabel. So So McKelty and Isabel of Christine's kids went down to North Carolina to spend it with Janelle and her kids. Christine had Aspen and Truly along with David's kids for Christmas. And then I don't know what Mary did with, if she did anything with Leon or Audrey. And then Gwendolyn did not go to Christmas with Janelle and her kids. So the family was fairly divided over the holiday in different places, with families growing, with Christine's wedding and everyone going to North Carolina. It's awesome that they all got to spend the final Christmas not knowing it was Garrison's final Christmas. Now, Mary, who also has been estranged from Janelle and doesn't really have a huge relationship with the kids, posted this as another tribute, not only to her mom, but to Garrison. This week has been full of array of emotions, but I could not let this March 9th pass without acknowledging and celebrating my sweet mom on her birthday. She was the one who always gave comfort and support and was there at the drop of a hat when you needed her. She loved without question and beyond measure. She made you feel like you were the only one in the world when you were with her. She served with a smile and loved with her huge heart. She loved every one of her grandkids, no matter how they came into her family. They were all hers, and all of her kids lovingly called her grandma. I have a little more comfort this week knowing that she was likely on Garrison's welcoming committee, smiling that perfect smile at him and holding his sweet face in her loving hands. Keep an eye on our boy up there, Mom, and give him a hug for me. And then she did blue hearts, which is the awareness color for people that end their lives. It's a sweet post for sure. He has another grandmother, Cheryl, who passed away, his biological grandmother. He has a biological grandmother as well, Janelle, that remains alive, though I believe has dementia. That's what McKelty had shared on her Instagram and on her Patreon a few months ago. Bonnie was a member of the Apostolic United Brethren, and to the extent that the kids had a close relationship with Bonnie, that I don't know, but it's a sweet tribute to her mom and to Garrison. Now, in the midst of that, Robin has not made any comments, and perhaps that's for the best. Robin and Garrison have not had any communication in years, given the strain that they had due to what was happening with the COVID rules, which weren't about the COVID rules, by the way. It had to do with Garrison and Janelle's kids being shunned by Cody and Robin, basically being shunned by Cody for not obeying his rules. So when they kept talking about COVID on the show being the catalyst or being what drove the family apart, it was never about COVID. Cody used that as an excuse, but Cody was shunning his children that were not obeying him. He was shunning and discarding his adult children that he didn't feel valued or needed him, which Janelle was pretty clear about this past season, that Cody didn't have relationships with his adult children, some of them because they had opinions that were not in line with his, and he did not want to listen to opinions that were not in line with his. And in this specific culture, if someone isn't abiding by their father, who is the patriarch, it's not uncommon for those kids to be cast out, shunned, discarded, and the dads like Cody to say, I have children that I need, that are loyal to me, that I need to be with, and the rest of them I don't want to talk to and talk about. So Cody and Robin's family was shunning the rest of the family for not being loyal, not obeying, not following the rules of their culture and their cult. Garrison was not in the cult anymore. Heck, Garrison had tattoos, which are not allowed in this culture. I loved his rebel spirit. Now, so Robin has made no comments whatsoever. She has not posted on any Instagram, any social media. She hasn't said a word. And it probably is for the best, because Cody's posts on his Instagram are getting absolutely destroyed with so much negativity and comments from people being furious with him. And I'm confident that the reaction that he is getting from fans has to do with what occurred on this past season on Sister Wives and all of the terrible things he said about his children that were very hurtful, and his anger that he directed at Garrison, which I don't know a lot of kids that are this young that could take the magnitude of what he was saying, Cody, about his kids for 4 seasons. It was like from season, I believe, 16 through 18, so 16, 17, 18, 3 seasons, that he's constantly berating Garrison and Gabriel, making horrible accusations at them. And they're really, in a way, kind of forced to come on the show to defend themselves. And they're not getting paid, by the way. Garrison was not paid by Cody or his mom for being on the show. Cody was getting all of the money for the show. And Garrison was using his money from being in the National Guard to help pay for college. He wasn't getting money from his dad. And on the topic of the National Guard, the Nevada National Guard actually honored Garrison in a tribute and a post on their social media, announcing his passing and also revealing that to the day that he passed, he remained an active member of the National Guard for the Army for the state of Nevada. They wrote, "Dear Army National Guard soldiers, we are saddened to inform the organization of the death of a fellow Nevada Army National Guard soldier. Staff Sergeant Robert Garrison Brown, 1st Squadron 221st Cavalry, died Monday in Arizona. He loved being in the military," said Captain Elijah Armstrong, 1st Squadron 221st Cavalry Maintenance Officer. "He loved his family. He loved getting out into the field with his fellow soldiers. He will be greatly missed." Brown, 25, joined the Nevada Army National Guard in 2015 with an already established celebrity through his affiliation of TLC's reality show Sister Wives. He grew up on camera, so he knew a little bit about who he was from the show, even before he joined, said Master Sergeant Christopher DeLuca, who served as Brown's readiness non-commissioned officer upon Brown's enlistment. "We always kept that part, the TV show, separate. His family used to come to events, and we got a chance to know many of them through the years. As he stayed with the unit, he had goals of going Special Forces. He was always hungry for the next thing. He had lofty goals to acquire experience and opportunities in the Guard." DeLuca remembered Brown as a keen listener and someone who loved the cavalry. "He's done everything you can do here for a guy who is combat arms, from gunner on a Bradley armored vehicle to dismount team leader. He was also a great listener. I have pictures of him in the back of classrooms taking notes. In the field, he was always turned in and locked in for every piece of information. He never talked down to people and played the macho game. He spent most of his time just doing what was right." Brown served in every line in the 221st Cavalry, including Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie Troop, DeLuca said. Brown was in the process of completing an interstate transfer to the Arizona National Guard, but was still a member of the 221st Cavalry as of this week. Many of his family members reside in Arizona. The Nevada National Guard has been in touch with his family and will continue to support the family through this tragedy. The family has asked for privacy this week. Funeral services are pending. The entire Nevada National Guard mourns the loss of Sergeant Robert Garrison Brown. We know there are many members in the force and the 221st Cavalry family who are extremely devastated by the loss of their battle buddy. If anyone needs assistance, please reach out if you need support. The state's behavioral health counselor is available. They provided a phone number, the state psychological health manager therapist phone number, and the chaplain's office, or the crisis hotline at 988. And then they shared some photos of him on the lines. What a touching, sweet tribute. So for those of you that were wondering, he remained in the National Guard, and he appeared to have a deep respect from his peers and from those that were above him, his superiors that were training him. And he loved serving in the military, loved his role in the military, and had goals to serve in the Special Forces. So this was a man that outside the show was doing things and was serving our country, serving the state of Nevada. And it's tragic when you consider the fact that this man that was serving our country was just being so degraded on a show. his service to the country was never a forefront or discussed much on the show, and very likely to keep that very separated. But Cody never served in the military. Cody would never do service like that. He hates the government. In many ways, Garrison was the opposite of who his dad was. Garrison was opposite of everything his dad stood for. He stood for integrity, and he stood for commitment, and he stood for honor and value. And Cody didn't do any of those things. Now, again, it's not Cody's fault, but it's hard to separate what Cody was saying about Garrison and then knowing Garrison's final text to think how that couldn't have played a role in his mindset that night. The military and the National Guard will generally offer funeral services or coordinate for funeral services. He very well could end up being buried in a cemetery for service members. It's still unclear where the funeral will be held and where he will be buried. For now, that's all I have. Make sure to please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or liked this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you have yet to subscribe. And as always, please feel free to leave comments about your thoughts on the video and your comments on this topic today. Bye, guys.